Hi, everyone. So, this isn't usually my window for doing these kind of things, but this evening I was so convinced that it was time to do this thing. I usually do these on Sunday evening. I was so convinced, not so much that it's Sunday evening, but that it's time for me to be here on this live. I have a lot of energy. I woke up with quite a bit of energy this morning, and I've been processing a lot of energy today and this week. I'm sure we all felt it. I've seen a lot of people talk about how this week had teeth and hands, and it was a lot, essentially. And it was. While it was, though, I do think that something really beautiful came out of the work that we did this week, and out of the processings and all the reasons why this week had hands. It was for a reason. And I channeled some energy. I channeled some energy on last week, Sunday, on the last live that I did, that gave the energy of judgment, which, if you had tuned in to that reading, spoke of a divine kind of awakening, a culmination point in terms of realizing things. I'm trying to look for the card so I can show the image and tune into the vibe. It spoke of a culmination point of like realizations. It also speaks of needing to zone in on what you choose to believe in and be intentional about it. Let me actually just read the interpretation again. Because, and this is energy that I wanted to save for tomorrow's live, but like I said, I'm filled with a lot of energy right now. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say, maybe even expand on this reading that I have, that I'm doing. I'll expand on it more tomorrow. But I was just filled with energy today, and was so convinced that today was the day that I do this reading. Like I said, not so much that it was Sunday, but that it's time to go live and speak about the energies, which I've never felt before. I'm fairly new to this. I've only started doing these kind of things this year. So for me to feel, with all of that being said, this is the first time I felt such a pull, and not even a pull. I don't know how to explain the feeling that I felt. I don't know how to explain it, but it was the thing that drew me to say, okay, regardless of the fact that it's not the usual time that I do these readings, it's time to go live today. So like I said, last week we pulled this card, and the interpretation is rebirth, a new life, a call to make some fundamental change in your life, to let go all constraining considerations and reach for the heights, rising above adversity, attainment of some deep, long-held ambition, surrendering to the divinity within you. And incredibly enough, I tuned into a live reading yesterday of a tarot reader who I've been following for years. I've mentioned her before. Her name is Queen Cup Tarot via YouTube. Her name is Destiny. I will link the reading that she did recently, because it is a beautiful match to the reading that I did last week, and this reading today I think is going to be an expansion of the cards that she pulled yesterday. But it was very amazing that she read for an energy that I was feeling. It's as if her reading supplemented my reading that I did on Sunday. We were tapping into the same energies, reading more or less the same things. She's just, like I said, been in the game for a lot longer than I have, and she therefore is very brave with her channeling. She's very direct. She's not afraid to list very specific situations and scenarios. She's also got a huge following, huge enough for at least one person in her audience to relate to what it is that she's talking about. She's always right about at least one person. And she was right about a whole bunch of us last night, I mean. Whatever, last evening makes sense. Anyway, point is, we're all tapping into something incredible right now, regardless of how this week played out, regardless of how many teeth and hands it had, regardless of how beat you may feel by the end of the week, by the end of this work week. Something incredible is unfolding about the amount of work that we've all put into our lives as individuals and as a collective. We've all been working towards a similar frequency. I think it feels like there's a collective group. There are different collectives of us who all had specific intentions. So it's like, okay, I don't know how to describe what it is that I'm seeing, but it's like a group of people here that had individuals that all had desires. They all had the things that they want in life. Those individuals all happen to want the same thing. So it's as if what's happening now and why this vibe is so amazing and energetic and why everything is so wonderful right now is because we're all aligning not just to our own truths, but because we are so specific with our individual truths and so intentional, our individual truths are going to connect us to the larger network of people who share our beliefs. And we're going to kind of clump together like the way cells do when they are formulating a body in a womb, like how I'm remembering the understanding of how cells in a body, when it's forming as a fetus, when the cells in a fetus are forming a baby, a human body, the cells are able to align themselves with their specific job by relationally, by kind of bumping or merging with another cell next to them, and this cell will have its this cell next to it will have its purpose, and then this cell will know or will align further to what it's supposed to be according to the information that this cell has. So it's like that kind of thing is happening on a collective level with each human being. The reason this is also working so well is because more of us are understanding how little impossibility there is in life, how limitless the living experience actually is. More of us are being brave enough to believe more and to have more hope and to dream and all of that. So that it's really been true. It really is true, and we're going to see how true it is. We're going to understand the truth of it. That we're going to understand how true it is that when you heal yourself, you heal your community, you heal the collective. I think that's part of what we're realizing. That's part of that's part of the frequency of this new life, awakening to the divinity within. Part of awakening to that divinity is understanding how true it is that as within, so without. Excuse me. So this really is an expansion of last week's reading in that last week we received the Chariot in reverse. We received the Chariot in reverse, and as I had said last week, we received it this way. As I had said last week, the work that we're doing is of turning it this way. And I think that by moving through everything that we moved through and processing everything that we did this week, we allowed for this to be upright. In Queen Cup's reading, Destiny's reading, she received judgment. If I remember correctly, it was judgment paired with the wheel, which I love. Yeah, the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Truly divine work at play. Truly beyond any hard labor that we need to do. And the way that we can make sure that this stays upright, the way that we can maintain this upright energy is by continuing to be true to ourselves and being honest with the way that we feel and moving honestly from our true feelings. So feeling the way we feel, being totally honest about that, allowing that process to move through us, and then taking action from the truth of that process. My personal experience over this past week, to expand on the cards that we received last week, I don't want to go through, honestly, I don't want to go through the work of pulling each and every card. I got the Five of Cups and the Queen of Cups. And the Five of Cups and Queen of Cups for me played out as deep, deep waves of depression, some external situation, very sad and disappointing situation unfolded that hit me like a brick, but that I wasn't processing. It was as if I was reaching an emotional blockage in terms of being able to process it. And I could feel it. Every time I held the external situation that happened in my mind, I could feel the cry. It was sitting here, but it just wasn't flowing. So I instinctively knew that there's a cry that needs to come out, and I can feel it in my body, but something is also suppressing it. This needs to come out. I thought to myself, I need to find a way to cry and push beyond my suppression. Because I also know instinctively that suppressing my emotions, especially considering who I am a very Queen of Cups girly, very water dominant, full of emotions and all of that. So I knew it's very bad news that I feel like I need to cry right now, but I'm not crying. So I pushed myself to those tears and I made sure that they fell out. I'd been feeling awful for about 2.5 days before that. Very bad, but no tears. After finally pushing myself to cry, I felt free. And then I remembered that that's actually all the work that I need to do. If you relate, and I honestly think that this is the truth for everybody, but we all have different ways that we approach this truth. All that we are tasked to do as human beings, it's never, and I've said this in multiple readings before, it's never about the actual physical labor of the thing that we need to do. It's about what our bodies need to process so that something comes, because our bodies are also their own intelligence. They are their own organisms that can carry out truths. You ever find how sometimes you do something and only after you do it, you realize, I don't know why I did that. It's like I was on autopilot. But then you find, I don't know if this is something you can relate to, but this has happened to me multiple times before and to my sister. You'll carry out an action, not knowing why it is that you're doing it, realizing afterwards that was very autopilot coded. And then maybe a few days later or hours later, you realize why it is that you did that thing. Suddenly the thing that you did on autopilot is actually very useful, like putting something away or deciding to take something with. You don't know why. You're about to leave the house. You're deciding to take something with. You don't know why you need to take it with. It's just something that your body kind of automated for you to do. And then you realize hours later, oh, that's why I took the thing. I actually needed this thing that I took with me that I didn't know why I was taking with me. You know what I mean? I read about this weeks ago, but there's something about this, the truth of how this is playing out and how important it is to hold this truth consistently that is coming into all of our awarenesses collectively now, so that I get the sense that a lot of exciting, very exciting, mind-blowing coincidences are going to happen, especially this Taurus season and this month. Mind-blowing things that are going to show you how smart not just you are, but how smart your body is, and how smart and in collaboration your soul and body are with this universe, to a point where, and I'm feeling into a specific scenario where you decide you need to go somewhere. You're leaving for some place. And say this place, you're leaving for an event. This is a very specific example. You're leaving for an event. The event starts at a specific time, and your body or your desires, your inner desires are unfolding in a way where you're seeming to like take your time. This event starts at a specific time. What's wrong, baby?
The iPad's dead because...
You can charge it. The charger is in Uncle T's room. Go charge it. It's okay. Go and charge it, baby. So the event will start at a specific time, and then your desires will, you don't feel a sense of urgency. That's what I was trying to, those are the words that I was trying to find. Then starts a specific time. You have no sense of urgency to make that specific time. You don't understand why. And then you decide to leave at whatever time you leave. And when you arrive at that event, you happen to arrive at the same time as someone else that you were supposed to meet. So where the chances are so incredible that you meet at the exact same point at the entrance of the event, at the same time, at the door. Or you arrive and it happens that this person that you're supposed to meet and merge lives with, build dreams with, build a successful business with, happens to be standing in the line behind you or in front of you. Things like that, Or like those situations where, and I'm sure we've heard multiple versions of the story where someone's buying groceries and they're paying cash and they happen to be short by a few cents or whatever, and they happen to be standing behind or in front of someone who is kind enough to pay to supplement the money it is that they're missing. And it's that specific kind of kindness. That kind act was matched for that specific person at that specific time, so that had you been a second later or earlier, had you decided to leave 5 minutes later or earlier, you would have missed that act of kindness from that specific person. You know what I mean? Lots and lots and lots of that happening this Taurus season and this month in particular. It's really beautiful because as Destiny said, I'm feeling into the same energy where it's going to be unbelievable. Like we're literally going to struggle to believe and understand how much room there is to play with life, how kind the universe is to us, how kind the universe is to us should we allow it. Because unfortunately, as within, so truly without. Your world will not reflect the love and kindness to you that you don't believe is possible. But what she also read, and what I'm also tapping into, is that it feels like the bar of our belief of what we deserve, the bar of goodness that we believe we deserve and that we believe is possible in life is here. The universe is going to show us, it's here. The universe is going to show us at this point how kind it can be to us. To ask us, so are you sure you want to keep your limit here? I'm showing you, this is as the universe, I'm showing you I can give you this level. Are you sure you still want to leave your beliefs at this level? Don't you want to expand and ascend to meet me where I am showing you I love you, and then expand even further? This is the point. We're supposed to almost explode with the possibilities of life. Like, we're supposed to believe so much more than what we believe is possible right now, to a point where, and I think this is part of why all these changes that we're experiencing in life and this great awakening that we've all been anticipating for thousands and thousands of years is so unbelievable, because the things that can happen and the things that the universe is kind enough to grant us is going to it's going to make us feel like we're crazy. It's going to feel crazy. I mean, if you've been in this game for a while, if you're part of my group, if you're part of the same collective I'm a part of, who awakened around 2018, a few years before COVID, and because I remember feeling in my center. I didn't know that something like COVID could happen, but I knew that something huge was going to happen that was going to rock the globe. And we were all going to be sitting in disbelief facing these changes that we suddenly need to adhere to. I could feel that something massive was coming. And I know I'm not the only one. And I know that our collective, the collective of people who felt this with me, was also going through a life-changing thing in 2018. A lot of crazy losses and life upside downers and things and behaviors from our own selves we never thought would happen and come about, but they did, and they rocked our worlds. There is no limit to how our worlds can be rocked. There is no limit to this. And what I'm feeling into now is the light of it all, the magic of how there's no limit. I think back in 2018 with how everything was it was a little bit morbid, to be honest. It was shocking, and it was pretty miraculous and magical on some level, but it was mostly very morbid. It was a lot of loss. For me personally, I experienced a lot of loss starting 2018. And into 2020, 2021, it was a lot of loss. It was very, very sad. I was depressed in a way that I prayed against. I actually actively prayed not to ever feel that kind of sadness, and I felt it anyway. And I suppose in hindsight, I had to feel it to understand that I'm bigger than it, and that I won't ever feel that kind of sadness again, because it will never feel that way again. It'll never feel that blindsiding. I probably will feel that sad again. But next time I do feel that sadness, I'm no longer afraid. I was very afraid, and I think we all were. We're very afraid of the darkness and the shadows and shit. But with everything happening right now, we never had to be afraid. We never had to be afraid. And I feel like the energy I'm tapping into and the people that I'm reading for are those who have faced such copious amounts of fear that it's as if we don't believe that this light is coming. We don't believe in the chariot or in goodness. It's like we've lost our belief of good. We've lost our belief in goodness. We've lost our ability to hope. We lost it to all the fear and the darkness we had to process and integrate. And in trying to understand that, or in trying to integrate the fact that yes, shadows and darkness comes, that is the deal of life. It's as if we have made, we're so close to making the mistake that is all that life has to offer. Shadows, darkness, integration of that. Shadows, more darkness, more integration. At some point, or rather, no, what I believe is coming is that is that is the matching energy of how we don't just have to integrate shadows. We don't just have to integrate nightmares that happen and sad losses and stuff. There is a part of us that will have to also integrate the joy and the happiness. There's parts of us that will have to integrate and understand that we are deserving of great and amazing things, which is linked to the caption of the title, the caption of this stream, and what I've actually addressed a few readings back. Realistically, what would you do if all of your dreams came true right now? What would you do if you won the lotto? Or if you met the love of your life? Because all it takes is a second as well. All it takes really is just eyes meeting. Do you understand? Would you believe it? Would you believe it? And I think, or what I'm feeling I'm reading for the people who would tune into my work is that a lot of us will not believe it. But it's coming. That culmination point of all of your dreams coming true in exactly the way you wanted them to, or at the very least, because there's a top point of where we envision ourselves to be if we were living our dream life, for example. It's the gorgeous house, it's the loving unions, it's being surrounded by people you love, having excess money to be able to do whatever you want with, right? At the very least, what would you do if you were at this level? Because this doesn't just happen overnight. Obviously, it takes some steps, building, But are you ready for at least step one? What would you do if you got at least the first view of the fact that this is happening? It's not just possible, it's actually going to happen. This is actually yours. Would you be able to recognize that and receive it, accept it? Or will you self-sabotage? Will you push it away and say, no, this surely isn't for me? I'm imagining the image of it's exactly like winning the lotto, really, or like buying those golden ticket things where you buy a product and you hope that you're the one, that the product that you bought has the golden ticket or whatever inside. You've done it more than enough times and, so I actually have a better example that my son was watching on this Baby Shark show of his last night, where the Baby Shark, and I think if you literally search Baby Shark, it'll be the first episode there. Baby Shark is waiting for a delivery, and every knock on the door is some friend of his. And by the fifth knock, Baby Shark has lost all hope. It's like, wow. He even goes out of his way to say, will this delivery ever come? Maybe I should just give up. And then the knock comes. And then Baby Shark opens the door and it's the delivery, And the lovely part is that when the delivery actually came, Baby Shark opened the door and it's a whale delivery man. And the whale just slides the delivery in and then leaves. And that's it. That's it. Many, many knocks later, on the edge of patience, you've even lost all hope. You're sitting there on the floor like, wow, will this dream ever happen? Then suddenly it does. Suddenly, That's how this works. That's how this works as well in particular. Just because you want it to be the first knock doesn't mean it's going to be the first knock. You don't even know which knock it's going to be. There's no telling, and it's not your job to know. And yeah, and that's it. It's really exciting, essentially. This is a very exciting time. And I feel, along with the sadness that I've had to process and this disappointing news and all of that, it's still very it's so ripe, this energy of new beginnings and dreams coming true and magical coincidental moments that unfold that show you that you don't even have to believe in God for this, that show you that your interaction with your life is alive and pulsing. When you speak to your life and you interact with your life speaks and interacts back to you. You'll send out a question wondering, am I actually a good person? This is something that I experienced recently, where I wondered from the pit of my heart, not even whether or not I'm a good person, but is it worth it at all to be a good person? And then I received a very random interaction with an Uber driver who was able to see my goodness through asking me a few questions about how I'm raising my son, so that I got a 2-in-1 special with the answer that I put out there, wondering, is it any use for me to be a good person? My answer back was yes, and it is shown through your motherhood, which is the greatest. It was the perfect gift and the perfect way that life could have communicated to me that I'm on the right path and that I'm doing the right thing and that my intentions are, they are, like like when a cog clicks into place perfectly, or when a puzzle fits perfectly into the place that it's meant to be, just that perfect click, That is how life is all the time for all of us, and all it has ever taken is for us to at least realize it and acknowledge that that's how life is for you. It is a perfect click. Every moment is a perfect click. You don't have to try too hard. You don't have to push. You never had to do any of the pushing and the grinding and the sacrifice. I'm not a big fan of sacrifice, of the term and the understanding of it, because it gives this it feeds into this perception that you're not already deserving, like you have to do a whole bunch of things and become a whole bunch of things that you don't feel you're at right now. You have to morph and change from who you are and where you are now in the moment in order to be deserving of the things that you want. There's never needed to be any sacrifice. There's never needed to be any sacrifice. You've only ever needed to acknowledge the moment. Be in it. Be true to how you feel in the moment. Be true to the moment itself. Be true to you. That's all that's ever needed to happen. I don't really feel called to pull any cards. I just came with that message. But I would like to just, for the sake of, for the sake of supporting and supplementing everything I'm saying, let's pull a card. Why not? Just one, though. This wasn't part of the plan, like I started off this reading with. This was not part of the plan. I just felt super energized and charged up to deliver that message and to leave it as a footprint on the internet and to invite us all to play. We are invited to play truly. We should play a lot more with our lives, take a lot more risks that technically in the greater scheme of things aren't risks. They are universal instruction. Yeah. It may look risky because of our illusions of security and control. But nothing is risky. Nothing is risky if you are always in the moment and if you are understanding that you are always safe, you are always protected, held, loved, guided by your life, the universe, whatever you call it, by your own self even, Yeah. It's magical. So the world fell out in reverse. It was in reverse. Again, what I'm loving about this deck, and Three of Rods is underneath, which speaks of new creative energy. Judgment fell out again. And this was me just dropping a bunch of cards by mistake randomly. So Three of Rods speaks of new creative energy, new projects. So I get the sense that wonderful new ideas are going to come online. I think specifically about how you can make a lot of money being true to yourself and not sacrificing your time for some other person's dream. Wonderful cards underneath, but like I said, I'm not trying to get too deep into this reading. I just wanted to deliver that message. Interesting thing about the way this card fell out as well was that I watched it turn around. So it fell out, it left the deck upright, and then I watched it flip as it fell to the ground. So, in reverse, this card speaks of seeing all possibilities, the ability to fall into unity, enormous achievement just around the corner. Swimming with cosmic energies, diving into success, ecstasy, almost too great to be born. We are on the brink of something incredible. And I love this deck, the Intuitive Tarot, Scylla Conway. She killed it. I really love, because from my knowledge of knowing, from my first intro into tarot was obviously through the Rider-Waite deck. The reverse interpretation of cards was always was mostly bad news, or like the opposite of what the upright meaning was. So I love that the reverse card of this, the reverse interpretation of this card means that. And then upright, just for the sake of, this card means spiritual fulfillment and awareness, the successful completion of an important project that resonates on so many different levels, a feeling of love and connection and permeating through your life. An end and a new beginning. But yeah, like I said, it felt reverse, which I think, both interpretations, both upright and reverse to me, they give the same frequency. Goodness all around either way. Seeing all possibilities, swimming with cosmic energies, diving into success. And that's actually, because this body is literally diving into this galaxy, right? Good news. Great news. Something incredible around the corner. So exciting, rubs hands, Birdman meme. It's so good. It's just so good. And I hope that we can feel it regardless of everything that happened this week, or regardless of anything that's happening into your life, considering that you may be watching this in the future. And I hope that we can feel it and stay hopeful, knowing that you're always in control of your life. Just perception-wise. Like, honestly, what if you believed everything is going to be okay? What if? What would you do? How would you move otherwise? And why can't you believe that everything is going to be okay? Like, why not? Why not, right? Why not play with your life? Why not? It's your life. You can do anything you want with it. That's all I have. That's all I think needs to come out of this live stream. Yeah, that's all. That's really all I have. I'm still feeling into the excitement of everything. And regardless of when it is that you are watching, thank you for tuning in. I'm very, very grateful for everybody that is aware of my work, everybody that gives me a second of their time. It really means so much. Each second means a lot. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow evening. As I mentioned earlier, I usually stream around 7 p.m. South African time on this channel.